if I would have applied myself, I could have gone to the NBA.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. But it's just like, it's been done. I didn't want to, I was like, I don't want to be a follower. Hi, I'm Jason Concepcion.
And I'm Shea Serrano. And we are back. We have a new podcast from Wondery. It's called Six Trophies.
Woo!
And it's the best.
Each week, Shea Serrano and I are combing through all the NBA storylines, finding the best, most interesting, most compelling stories, and then handing out 6 pop culture themed trophies for 6 basketball related activities.
Trophies like the Dominic Toretto I Live My Life a Quarter Mile at a Time trophy, which is given to someone who made a short-term decision with no regard for future consequence.
Or the Christopher Nolan Tenet trophy, which is given to someone who did something that we didn't understand.
Catalina Wine Mixer trophy.
Ooh, the Lauryn Hill, you might win some, but you just lost one trophy. And what's more, the NBA playoffs are here, so you want to make Six Trophies your go-to companion podcast through all the craziness. Follow Six Trophies on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. It is just after 11 o'clock. The Dallas Mavericks fell in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. They are now 0-3, losing to the Boston Celtics 106-99 in a really, I don't even know what kind of game I would qualify this. It was very painful. So if you would like to come talk about the game with me, I've posted a StreamYard link in the YouTube comments where you can click on and you can come talk basketball with me. You don't necessarily have to show your face. You can join from your phone. You can join from your computer if that's your thing. We will hang out until people don't want to talk anymore. And so far, even though it's the NBA Finals, it's looking like we may not have very many people to talk at all. Coming up first is my guy, Sam. Sam, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining after a loss. How you doing? Give Sam a second.
You're doing as well as you can be after.
You're here. Go for it, Sam.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that sucked. First of all, let me just say this. I don't want to talk about, we're going to be the first team to come back from 3-0. I don't even care no more. I don't want to get swept, so I would love them to at least win a game. That'd be nice. That would be really nice. But I'm really disappointed in Luka. And I know, let me say this. Obviously, we wouldn't be here because if it wasn't for Luka. He's been great this whole process. For his standards, he actually hasn't been as great, but still been the man. But today was just, damn. I don't know what to say. I don't know if anybody says anything to him, but I know he's hurt. I get it. He has 20 different things going on. He's out there trying. He's busting his ass. But a lot of these plays, man, this defense it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like this plays where he's not boxing out and he's pointing at other guys. I'm like, bro, that is your guy. What are you doing? Why are you pointing at us when you're not guarding? When you're not boxing out Drew Holiday, he's getting offensive rebounds. Like, what are you doing? It's bad. it's actually disappointing because I would.
I understand why you feel that way. I think I'm going to process my thoughts on this a little more and probably wait to kind of consider the whole of Luka as opposed to just this game. I don't want to justify any of the kind of plays that he was making tonight that weren't up to par for a superstar. But I also don't want to tell you that you're wrong. It's a difficult balance to strike with him because I think that this finals, Yes, we know he's hurt, guys. I'm not gonna, or he's hurting, whatever you want to call it. But I think every layer of the playoffs gets harder and harder and harder. More specific, you learn more things. I still think that there are levels for him to get to preparation wise, whether it's strength, speed, overall like cardiovascular stuff. That sort of stuff is he looked so tired in this game, and the tiredness led to mistakes. The mistakes led to frustration, and the frustrations led to a few plays, which if you were to watch this, you wonder if he wishes he had back, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that 100%. Like I said, it's not a matter of, I'm pretty sure he wants to play his best, obviously. I mean, he's not going out there and just laying down. He's not giving he's trying. I definitely believe that, but a lot of the shots, because a lot of his shots today, he was getting in the paint. I won't say easily, but he was getting to the paint. He was just missing. And
yeah, like really, and we're talking like the 8-footers. We're talking like the 8-footers that were front rimming. Like that was tough. That was tough.
Yeah, and then you get the game. Obviously, Jason's game, and the third quarter just can't happen. Like you came back in the fourth, but I was putting it on Twitter. It's like, until they actually win the game, it's a fake comeback because I didn't believe they were going to get over the hump. And then after Luka fouled out, and I don't even want to talk about Tim Hardaway, like whatever, it is what it is. I wasn't even mad at it because I felt like you had to have some type of shooting, so maybe he could do something. But once he missed like his first 2 or 3 shots, I was like, that's it, just get him out the game. It's not going to work. And the fact that you're back and after Luka fouled out is really key. But again, whatever. Don't care. Yep. Let's just not get swept. Just win a game on Friday, and then cool. If y'all get beaten 5, you have your lesson. You learn. Dirk didn't win his first finals. LeBron didn't win his first finals. A lot of players don't win their first finals. So, hell, the Celtics didn't win their first finals. Jason Tatum and them. So, you just got to live and hope you can get back. So, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, man. Talk soon. Thanks for hanging out.
No problem.
All right. Coming up next is Rain. Rain, how's your Australian day going so far?
Oh, I've got a good rest of my day to stew on this.
All right.
It's 2 p.m. If our other Australian friend's in here, I think he's in Perth. He's got another hour or so behind me to deal with this bullshit. I probably shouldn't be here because at this moment I do not fucking believe one bit. At this point, I see enough for them to potentially not get swept, but just not a shot on how that they can do this. And the extra disappointing is without KP, it feels like I missed almost all of the good runs that they had except for the fourth quarter. I missed half of the first quarter. So
they didn't really have runs. They just kind of played back and forth. Like the Celtics, and then the Celtics like buried them in the third.
What I mean is that that lead that they had in the first quarter, I basically saw that get blown away.
Yeah.
And then I saw the second quarter, third quarter, and 2.5 quarters of just shit. Poor decision making, poor defensive plays. Like the problem is Luka is never going to be a good primary on-ball defender. That's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
If there's not someone who isn't an all-star level offensive player, both being able to dribble, shoot, and attack the basket, the Celtics just have too many people who could potentially attack him. Because from what we've seen up until this, if there's someone who isn't an elite offensive player, he can guard them. Even if they're not terrible on offense, he can do something. But
he's strong. He's strong enough to guard guys. The lateral quickness, I firmly believe he's also quick enough laterally and smart enough to do some of the guarding. He needs to actually be in the kind of mental place and cardio place where he can do it, where he can sustain Like James Harden was so bad in his first couple years with the Rockets because he never was really able to play defense and he had to carry such a big load offensively. Again, if like Luka's going to play a really big offensive load, he has to be in the just like the cardio shape to where it never phases him and where he can take the defensive hits. It's not fair. It seems superhuman to ask that, but that's like, if he's going to be attacked like that, then that's where he's at. I mean, I also think that he is pretty haggard and worn down right now.
100%. Like, we do have to acknowledge if he's getting injections. Okay, I'm a paramedic, so if someone's getting injections as a form of pain relief, that's a big red flag to me. So, on top of that, if this is the condition that he's in, he should not be playing for Slovenia in the offseason. Now he will. We all know.
But I mean, if he's in this kind of shape, like, but how far they can go, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to dunk on Slovenia's chances, but like qualifiers are ruthless.
Oh, so. Exactly. But with the level of national pride that he has, there's no way he won't try. Yeah. And the problem is I had been going into this playoffs going, look, even if no matter how far we make it next year, this team, as it is currently constructed, if they can keep Derek Jones Jr., could be a top 3 seed in the West next season.
Mm-hmm.
If they have this year, if they have a little bit of better injury luck, they could have been a top 3 seed very easily as well. If Luka goes into this offseason, pushes himself even further, he's going to come in, be super slow, and probably not look like shit for a little bit at the start of the next season, and that's a not positive swing. And this is also how you know how dejecting this game is. I haven't touched Fanspo since the trade deadline. I was like, this is brilliant. Nico, what you've done is brilliant. There's no point for me even to look. This game, I was thinking about my Fanspo trades halfway through the game, and that it's not a good headspace to be in. Now, something that, because I missed part of that first quarter, can you tell me why they weren't going to Derek Lively and PJ Washington pick and rolls? Why that wasn't a big factor in this game?
Because I think every time PJ dribbles the ball, it becomes it becomes an adventure.
I meant Daniel Gafford. Sorry, I mixed them up. I mean, why has there not been as much pick and roll when?
Because they just switch it all. I mean, like if you switch Jason Tatum onto like off of Luka and onto Lively, it's a different wingspan element. Like it doesn't. There's just not the there's not the airspace to get him the ball. I mean, the Celtics have like 4 or 5 guys on the floor that have a lot of wingspan, so it's tough.
It is tough, but at some point they have to try something. And from what I've seen from the have been trying, that wasn't working. And we saw Lively in the second half, in the fourth, Lively had some good plays. So I thought that potentially that could be there's got to be some way that they can organize a double screen or some sort of drag screen or something where they can organize to get Lively on someone who's not, or Daniel Gafford on someone who's not Jason Tatum, and keep Tatum on Luka, because I think Luka can beat Tatum. But again, it's all in the past. Look, this team's not coming back down from winning the next 4. That's just not going to happen. Tim Hardaway Jr., he's got to go. He's going to be the primary in my trade. And look, he doesn't have a lot of trade value, but he is an expiring contract. So who knows? Sure. Maybe they can find themselves their own Derek White or someone. I doubt it, but hey, and Nico we trust, I suppose, at this point.
We'll see, man.
It's at this point, I just don't know what much there is to say. Things suck.
All right. Well, I'm going to head out. Thanks so much, Rain. Talk soon.
No,
all right. Sarah, welcome to the show. Sarah, if you're there, hit that unmute button. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
It's been better, been worse.
Yeah, same. Calling from Dallas, where I was not able to get tickets, but now I'm kind of glad I didn't pay $1,000 to watch that.
That would have been upsetting. I watched some woman on Twitter today was advertising tickets for $2,400, and she kept having to lower her prices. And it's like, I would have been so mad to pay a gajillion dollars to go to that game.
Yeah, and I was initially the first quarter, I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe I'm missing this right now. This is awesome. They're on." I am always entirely too optimistic in the first quarter, and that's my downfall.
No, I get it.
I'm a relatively new fan to NBA, casual watcher, and I used to play basketball in high school, so I know a little bit about it. But it's a whole different world of fandom. Lots of angry people all the time. Getting accustomed to that.
The internet is not a great place for it, and that's partially why I do this show, because it's like, I think you should be able to talk about these things without like outright screaming at one another, because it's like, if you were at a sports bar and you see some strangers, like, when you want to talk about the game with them, are you like screaming at them or are you talking to them? And
right,
like, that's
we need to all have the attitude that we're sitting down having a beer together.
That's right. And people just get mad. Part of me gets it. It's like, you spend so much time in this, and it's like, and I waffle back and forth depending on how my day is going, but it's just like, okay, all right, let's lighten up a little bit. You know, there's always going to be somebody with something sassy to say. And it's a matter of, do you want to, have a conversation, or do you want to be an asshole? Like, that's just kind of what it comes down to.
And the block button is your best friend. So on Twitter, that's just something you got to do.
Right. And just a reminder to the folks in the YouTube chat right now, like, if you don't like interacting with somebody that you're seeing on this YouTube chat, like, you can block them. I don't really block people on the YouTube chat, with the one exception of like people that come in here specifically to like be beyond trolls. Like, I blocked a overseas account where he's like, Luka never passed to Dirk. Luka's a bad guy. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Like, that sort of stuff. I'm not, but if you're in there talking a little trash about the Mavericks and you're a Celtics fan, I don't care. Have your fun.
Yeah, so. I mean, I have my experience rooting for losing teams in other sports, so I just say keep our chin up. It's not impossible, Stranger things have happened in this world.
Just hasn't happened yet.
I know, but you never know. Yeah. Maybe I'm paying attention this year because I'm the golden ticket. I don't know.
I love that.
I'm the lucky charm.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. You got anything else to bring?
That's it.
All right. Well, maybe see you in here in another game. Have a good one. All right.
Take it easy.
All right. Now we got my man Sudar Shan. Sorry, you have started your day crappy. How's it going?
Nah, I mean, it's okay. I choose to look at the positives of what is actually been a fun season, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I'm completely like burying the entire season as such, but yeah, I think we've gone off on, or we've covered the fact that Luka was not good. And I mean, Windhorst just went off on him just now on Sports Center, actually, where he completely blames him for everything. And it's hard to see that. But I mean, I don't know, the way I see it, it's probably where it's a tactical mismatch. And I don't know if Jason Kidd is able to coach around that.
No, I mean, around the mismatches, like around the, like that. I mean, that's how Tim Hardaway ended up on the floor. Like, at a certain point, you're just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what'll stick. And I know
exactly that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
I mind playing him that much. I don't mind trying him.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like we got positive XM minutes in this game. And I mean, to a certain extent in the last game. But I mean, the fact that you see that something's not working and you continue to go with that, it felt like it was just, we got Jason Kidd falling back into his worst habits, the same way we got Luka falling into his worst habits. It was just one of those games.
Yeah.
It's just sad that it happened in game 3 of the finals. That's it. Otherwise, there's hope for next season if we remain injury free and everything like that. I think, we could be we could at least look at home court in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But here's hoping at least it's not a sweep. I mean, even if it is a sweep, I don't think it's a big deal.
I mean, I don't like, I'm of two minds about it, because I've gotten into the groove to where I just feel like I feel so horrible all the time because of the lack of sleep. Like like somebody told me I need to start taking magnesium because my left eye is twitching because I'm just not getting good enough sleep. And so I don't really know what I would do with myself if I had free evenings. Do you know what I mean? It's sad.
There's plenty of stuff out there. There's the Euros coming up. There's plenty of sports to get excited about. I think
that's right. Well, and I made the mistake. You know, I found myself, just because I like sports stories, I found myself after I listened to, I knew this happened, but I hadn't really learned enough about it. Yesterday, I spent a good 2 hours looking into Pakistan falling to the United States in whatever this cricket tournament is going on over here. And then I had every intention of watching India probably wax the United States this morning, but then my boss was not pleased with me, so I didn't get a chance.
You basically watched India play against their B team.
Okay. Well, you know, what are you going to do? Well, Hey, hope you come back for game 4. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, and shout out to the people in the comments who actually know their Hindu mythology, which is quite awesome.
the internet is such a weird place, man. All right. So we'll talk soon. So great. So great. All right. Now we got Michael coming up next. Michael, what's up, man? Michael, are you there? All right, Michael, I'm going to punch you, try to rejoin, and then I'll bring you back up next. Frank, I see you're down there also, but it says devices aren't connected, so be sure to try to come in that way. Coming up next then is my man Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hi. Hello. Hi, am I on?
Hey, you're on. How you feeling? You have seen the phrase that I would use is mad online. Your Twitter feed makes me want to talk to you to see if we can lower the temperature a little bit.
No, I've already come down. I am just kind of annoyed because I'm already seeing the discourse start. It's annoying that Luka did the Luka thing that he hasn't done since like December in Game 3 of the finals, with the barking at the refs. So obviously that you like don't get back on defense and you give up a bucket. Like, that was unfortunate to see, especially at the time that it happened. I will say I'm seeing some ridiculous takes. Brian Windhorst just went on like Scott Van Pelt and just gave like a minute tirade about how Luka was being a baby and how the Mavericks are down 0-3 because of the Celtics being able to go at him defensively and, you know, him not like carrying all that in. Brother, we haven't scored 100 points yet in this series. The Celtics haven't scored 110. The defense isn't the problem. The problem is the second and third. Oh, go ahead.
But do you? So I've not heard Windhorst yet, but I have a pretty good idea what he said.
You can guess. I'm pretty sure.
Do you think he makes any good points? Be honest.
No, not really. I mean, I think the only one that he made was about Luka getting too involved with the refs. And again, this is a conversation that we've had over and over about Luka, but this is something that he hasn't done on a consistent basis in like 4 months.
He's never said anything, and he's never said it. Luka has never said anything post game about the refs that I can honestly remember, and I don't like that he started tonight. I don't like it. It is not. I mean, look, I'm going to sort of stick on my line tonight. I don't want to really get into serious Luka criticism because I don't think the Mavericks are obviously not here if him and Kyrie aren't great. I just think that there are elements to what it just depends. Like, are you as a Mavericks fan content with Luka's play right now? Do you think he's the best he's going to be? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like those are two different questions. Am I content with his level of play right now? If that includes the 2.5 series where he was like really locked in and dialed in defensively and also doing the offensive stuff, then yes, I am content with his level of play. Do I feel like he can get better? Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do I feel like he can be better with the refs? For sure. But this being the time to point that out, and I get what you're saying about like him having comments in the postgame. What he said was accurate. They didn't know if they were going to be able to defend physically, and that goes for both teams.
Sure.
The whistle was bad for both teams. in the last 2 games, the Mavericks got it like really bad, especially towards the end of the game and with the fouls he was getting called on because they just weren't consistent.
I struggle with this sort of thing because to my Mavs fans friends, I will have very spirited debates about Luka's place in all of this and what sort of criticisms are warranted and what aren't. With my non-Mavs fans friends, I will absolutely defend Luka to the death. Like it is a family type thing. Do you know what I mean? Outside the family, like we don't show. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't argue outside the family. You keep it. That's why whenever people get so fucking angry with me, whenever I say one little bad thing about Luka, it just sort of drives me crazy because it's like I have been a fan of the guy, likely just, like I have the receipts. I've likely been aware of Luka longer than most people. That's okay. Part of my job. It's just like, all right. But I also think about these things in the sense of if everyone that isn't a Mavs fan watches this Brian Windhorst rant, all right, and you can click on the various videos and you can go to the quote tweets and you can see, and lots and lots and lots of people agree. Is everyone else wrong? That's where I'm sitting. And I don't know how to answer this in a way without pissing everyone and their uncle off. And it's not really worth it at this point in time because they're down 0-3. And he fouled out with 4 minutes left. He missed a lot of bunnies because I think he's exhausted. And his defense was mixed bag. And but at the same time, if he doesn't score his points, the Mavericks weren't there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's difficult because like it is very easy to swing way too far to either end of the spectrum, depending on who and when you're having the conversation. Like, I don't want to have that conversation with a Celtics fan because I'm watching these games just like y'all game, and I'm seeing Jason Tatum yell at refs and whirl his finger around like he's trying to keep an imaginary plate on top of it. Like he does, all these stars do it. This is not exclusive to Luka. Luka will be brazen about it at times in a way that can be very grating and annoying, and he'll like be chirping pretty hard, pretty consistently on a ref when he's in one of his moods. But for the better part of the last 4 months, that hasn't really been a concern. And so to bring it back up now, when you know that the situation is, 1, he's injured, 2, he's really high strung because this is a high pressure game, 3, he's likely pretty annoyed because he didn't get any offensive assistance in the last 2 games. So people are saying, oh, well, why is he not, giving the ball? Or why are we not running any double drag? Why are we not, running any Spain pick and roll? Why are we not running any offensive sets to try and get Kyrie the ball on the catch, or like trying to get him the ball on the move, and like all these other things? Why are we not running Derrick Jones Jr. like as a screener, PJ as a screener? Why aren't we doing all these other things? It's because he didn't want to give the ball to those dudes if he didn't have to, because they shat their pants for 2 straight games when he needed them in Boston.
Yep.
And he did trust him down the stretch, and they were able to make some plays for him. But by then it was too late. He didn't need y'all then. He needed y'all 2 games ago.
Sure.
When the people in that crowd was yelling at him.
I think that's
and y'all
fair.
were getting ran out the building.
I certainly think that's fair. I mean, heavy is the crown is where I circle back to. Yeah. And this isn't fair. It wasn't fair in 2010 whenever Dirk was I don't know if you're even alive for this, you youth. But in 2010, during the playoffs, it became a huge story that Dirk, the Mavericks had put a private investigator on Dirk and determined that the woman that was in his life was basically an enormous scam artist.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm going to look up his stats during this run. B-ball reference, Dirk. It was 2010. I'm nearly positive when they lost to the Nuggets. I could have this wrong, but I'm still going to go take a look at this just to make sure that I'm feeling this. And as this is like happening and it's on TNT, the same TNT crew is really going after Dirk, like really uncomfortably. And it was so frustrating because you suffered through 2006 as a Mavs fan. You suffered through 2007 as a Mavs fan. It looks like it was 2009 here.
Yeah, I was going to say that was 2009 because I feel like that was the year that they put that 58-point beat down on the Hornets in the next round. Yeah,
yes,
I think that was it.
And I'm looking at this, so I'm pulling up this thing. So the Mavericks lost 4-1 in this series. All right.
Yep.
And I'm just going to read you what Dirk's stats were as this is happening, and they're just going in on him left and right about how he needs to be a better player and all this sort of stuff. He averaged 34 points, 12 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, and a block. Dirk fucking Nowitzki at age 30. Okay.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. And the comments were never ending. They were not fair. This is different because some of this that's going on is a little bit self-imposed. You know, when you create a reputation for yourself, I tell my 8-year-old this all the time. I'm like, coaches aren't going to want to coach you if you scream and have meltdowns and shit like that. Nobody wants to put up with that after a certain point in time. It follows you around whether it's fair or not. And there are elements of this where, I mean, whether or not Windhorse's rant is fair or not, I heard it. I can't justify it either way. A lot of people feel this way about Luka, and the impressions, like, you have to win people over by doing it the right, like by basically by not only by winning, but then by winning a certain way. I mean, look at what Jason Tatum's dealing with. The man's shooting like 12% from the finals, and it's not good enough, even though they're up 3-0. Like, the standards are always not fair, is I guess what I'm getting at. And I don't like the discourse, but, you know, as opposed to some of the Mavs fans that are in my comments here, people are like, oh, I'm a Mavs fan, but I want to trade Luka. Guys, like, statistically, we will never have a player as good as Luka again for the rest of our fucking lives. Seriously. That's how this shit works. You get one chance in most fandoms. Sometimes you get 2. We got 2. We got Dirk. We got Luka. You're not getting somebody as good as Luka ever again. Ever again. I just, like, that's the likelihood of how this stuff works. So I just need people who are really anti-Luka at the moment to just relax and hope that he figures it out, because I have to believe that he will.
Yeah, this isn't the time to have a moment on the ledge with Luka. I had mine earlier this season where I was firmly ready to just be out, and instead of spiraling, we came back. We're in the NBA Finals. This is not the time to jump ship. I don't care how other people talk to you about what happened and how badly we lost. We didn't lose this series per se. The Boston Celtics are really, really, really,
no, they're a great team.
like, legendarily all-time good. 1 through like 6. This is not a team that is commonly put together. There haven't been teams like this talented throughout most of their rotation since like the 80s Celtics or the 80s Los Angeles Lakers. You don't get teams put together with this many star level players anymore. The CBA is written so that you can't really put teams like this together anymore. So that they were able to, and that they've been able to put that together and win and be pretty unselfish as a team, is just something to congratulate them for. We didn't lose to the Charlotte Hornets. We didn't lose in the first round. We made it all the way to the NBA Finals in a season where I was just hoping and praying,
that's right,
can we just win a playoff series, please?
Yeah.
Like, keep it in perspective, man.
All right. Thank you so much for hanging out and waiting.
Of course, brother. Thanks for having me.
Talk soon. All right, we got Mike and then Ryan. Mike, what's up, man?
What's up? Pretty good. I just got quick comments. One, it was all Luka's fault. Like, there's not really anything. Like, it sucks to say that, but like, you're the best player on your team, and you brought this team to the finals. And we can talk about how like every role player on their side is like almost as good as you when they're playing in that role. When they talk about being a superstar in your role, like, they're able to be like make as impactful plays as Luka just by playing their role. Like, how many times is it that Luka will go in and score, and then fucking Derek White just hits a 3 that just completely nullifies it, and then no one gets, like, it doesn't even matter. So I don't know. It's just, it sucks that this is the team that we had to pull. But honestly, I'm I'm strangely confident too, though. Like I feel like I didn't even feel bad about the loss. Like everyone else is super pissed off. I was kind of just like, all right, well, I mean, it's pretty much over. We got like a 1% chance of winning this. But fuck them, dude. Like, just win one game, win the next game. Mavs in 7. Kyrie's gonna make history again. Kyrie's gonna win. I'm just putting out my bets here. Kyrie's gonna win Finals MVP. He's gonna average like 45 for the rest of the series. And that's how it's gonna go. I think Luka's just like way more hurt than anyone's giving him credit for. And
I think it's a fair take. I mean, a lot of people don't like that sort of discussion whatsoever. But I mean, if you feel that way, there's like it's like, did you see him last game? He looked like he was like wrapped up in ice. It's tough, man.
I know, and if you bring it up, it seems like you just get a little snicker.
Right, you feel it's like I made my boss really mad today about something that wasn't my fault, but he ultimately, like, me saying it and coming up with it, just anything I said was an excuse.
Yeah,
anything. So it's like the only solution at that point was to simply say nothing and take it on the chin.
Yeah,
and I think that's what you got to do if you're Luka. All right, man. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this podcast. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of the EE System, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. In hundreds of locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/bluewire to learn more and find a center near you. That's unifydhealing.com/bluewire. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System.
All right. Ryan, welcome to the show, man.
Hey. I'll keep it short so you can get to bed, but
it's good. I'm like, I had a energy beverage at like 8 and I'm too old for that shit. So like, I'm going to be up to like 2 either way. What's going on?
I mean, you basically took the words straight out of my mouth with the Lucas stuff. Like I live out on the West Coast. So I'm like, none of the people I'm around are Mavs fans. And I'm like constantly defending Luka to them. Like, no, you don't understand how good this guy is. And then like internally when I'm sitting at home watching the game, I'm like yelling at the TV the entire time about like, stop yelling at the refs, stop taking some of these step back threes, etc. But I don't know, the stuff with like the blaming the refs after the game, like he's been so good about that his entire career. Of like
he's never done. I don't really remember him ever doing it. Ever.
There's been like 2 times when he had like a bad PR moment, which was like after the Suns game with the fan sitting courtside, and then tonight pretty much. And he's normally so good about that. But and you're totally right. Like some of the criticism he's going to get is going to be unfair, but like I think he's the best player in the world. I'm sure a ton of Mavs fans also think he's the best player in the world. And like, if you're going to be that level of player, then like sometimes you're going to get some ridiculous criticism. Yeah. But I don't know. I was pretty at peace with the Mavs. I was like texting people. I was like, it's all right. Like the Celtics are like an amazing team. Like they could be different series result, but you know what? Like the better team won. And then they went on that run and get it down to 3. And then I was prepared for them to go down 3-0, but not prepared for them to go down 3-0 with Tim Hardaway Jr. closing the game and Lucas sitting on the bench. Which is not how I thought tonight was going to go. But I don't know. I've been listening to this podcast for like 5 years now. I've been on the live show twice. This is the second time, and last time was immediately after the Mavs lost Brunson in free agency.
Oh,
and it was pretty bleak then. And the big thing was like, well, you know, they have limited avenues to improve, but you just got to hope. I think I always said that, like, you just have to hope that, like, Jaden Hardy turns into something. And
yeah.
That hasn't even happened, and we're in the finals now, and Derek Lively's potential blows.
He was great this game. I didn't talk about that enough in the recap show. He was great.
Yeah, and, like, if you're looking for a bright spot for the Mavs, like, they're literally in the finals after missing the playoffs last year, missing the play-in, and Derek Lively's ceiling is legitimately, like, Rudy Gobert light. Well, not even light, like a defensive player of the year level defense. while like still being an amazing rim runner. So the future, I'm trying not to be too sad about it. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Much for hanging out and waiting. All right, we got 2 people left. Let's go with Michael. How you doing, Michael?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for joining.
Awesome. Well, I wasn't planning on the Mavericks going down 3-0, but I'm going to say this. If they win tomorrow, or they win Friday, which I think they will, then they have Game 5 on the road in Boston. And I just got a feeling if it goes to that 5th game, there's nothing to lose. And if they win that, then they got a Game 6 at home, which leads to, a Game 7. So I don't know. I mean, it's you can go either way, with it, but I was a little mad with, some of the shots that Luka missed. I mean, just bunny shots, man. I mean, shots that he could probably make in his sleep, and he was just
when they were short.
The first quarter,
that was the when I was like, oh no, because sometimes they just rim out, but when the shots go short, it's like, crap.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's like the first quarter was great, but then after that, just something happened, and you just got to give credit to Boston, man, coming back every time with those threes, man. But I'm telling you, man, they're like, I know they're a really good team and stuff, but I just would love to see them see. This is the thing. When you think of 7 games, you think, oh, they got to win 4 straight. I don't think in those terms. I think if they got it to a Game 6, that then you would really start to kind of see how this team could be. I mean, they got to win. They got to win the next game, obviously. But then the whole thing is like going on the 5th game, going back, or I'm sorry, fifth game. Yeah, going on the 5th game to Boston and somehow winning that and denying those fans, to celebrate. If they just lose 2 games, then you just got to look at all the pressure is on the Celtics. And I'm not saying they're, not a real good team, but man, you just got to, there's just something. Think about this. Okay, the Mavericks were down 21 in the 4th quarter, and they got it down to 3. Okay,
they got it down to 1.
Game.
It was 93-92. I was like all the way down to 1 point.
Right, and then, but think about this though: the first game they were down by some ridiculous amount, and they got it in single digits.
27
They
points,
just weren't able. They just weren't able to get over the top. So you got to feel that. If I'm Jason Kidd, I'm bringing that up. I'm saying, guys, we were so close. I mean, you got to do anything you can mentally to tell these guys to think that they have a chance. And just based on that, and then you look at the Game 2. Game 2, they were really, really close. And then it came down to that, the push or whatever, or, PJ missing, the dunk and the great block, as they say. And they're so close. And I'm just thinking, if they can just get 1 win, if they can win on Friday, then how, asshole Luka could be on, in Boston, and he would love to do it. And then if they get back to a Game 6, if they make it to a Game 6, you got to like your chances for them winning.
I love this positivity. So we needed this close to the end.
Thanks, man. And then I absolutely despise Dolores Burke. I mean, even before just when I couldn't believe that ABC would do that with Mike Bream, and JJ Redick's pretty good, but oh my God, man, she's freaking. I want to say the C word, but I'm not. But it's just, oh my God,
she just get me in trouble somehow.
But I mean, it's just ludicrous. Like you said, they're on a 20-2 run, and then she's just trying to talk
Talking about
about
Derek White.
and
It's
then,
like, come on, lady, can we relax, please?
God Almighty! And it's just, sometimes she'll, when Luka does stuff, she'll say how good Luka is, but that's just because if she didn't, then she would be all Boston. So she throws that little shit.
There was a play where Luka missed a layup past Tatum, and she kind of harped on how good Tatum's defense was. And then they replayed the play and showed Tatum with a clear foul. And it's just so weird. Anyway, I don't announce crews are difficult. I probably shouldn't have brought it up in the other show, but it's just like, I kind of come to hate every announce crew. That's just sort of
Well, if you look at like the guys from TNT, when I watch these national games, Mark Followell is incredible. I watch him all the time. He is so good. Look at the other the local announcers for local teams, and Mark Followell, man. You look at what he does compared to some of these true. Followell can be a homer, but he is more objective, and he gives credit to the other team. And these other, my God, some of these other announcers for their home teams are just absolutely ridiculous. But when I have to turn the sound down, especially in Minnesota, because it was like those three dudes were just trying to figure, okay, how can Minnesota try to win this game, either if they're at home or on the road? It wasn't like, okay, normally we'll give the road team, try to give them, pointers or credit. But no, if they were home, it's like, okay, what can Minnesota do to win? If on the road, what does Minnesota? It's such a biased thing. I have to turn the sound down like I did today, because and I like Mike Ream, but I cannot stand that woman. And oh God.
Well, Reddick drives me crazy too. Like he actually used the phrase on air ethical hooper, which is like, oh, I stare at the internet. Michael, thank you so much. All right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Talk soon. We have the wonderfully named Jackson Vanderslice on mute. Jackson, what's up, man?
What's up, Kirk?
Welcome to the show. What's going on?
Thank you. I'm toughing out a drive on my way back to Austin right now. I give my all at the ACC tonight, AAC, but just wasn't enough in the end.
Oh man! And then you got a 3 hour drive home. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm like I said, more sad than just anything. But
sure,
you can't be mad with this season. Just going into the playoffs, I just wanted to get a series, maybe two, right? You make the Western Conference Finals and you win in 5 games, and you're like, oh fuck, this might be real. And then you get all the way here, and it's gut wrenching, but there's a lot to look forward to for next season. I think we can leave the Lucas stuff where it is, but it starts with him and it ends with him. So he's going to get all the praise and take all the criticism. I just hate that we made it this close tonight. If we had just lost by 21, I would have been packing it up and saying, we gave it a run, but the run at the end just gave so much life. It's hard to weather that.
Well, I'm really glad you listened to the show. I hope you drive safe. All right.
Thanks, Kirk.
All right. Talk soon. All right, Sean. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Kirk. Long-time listener, first-time caller, because I tell you, this one really stung. I took my son to the game, his first finals game. He's only 9 years old, so he wasn't around for 2011. So I just got him tucked in. So I missed everything else up till now, but I just want to call in. It's my first time calling, like I said, but man, I don't know what everyone said. The last caller said something about leave the Luka stuff alone, but that's really why I'm calling.
That's what this show is for. If you got who else are you going to talk to at midnight? Can't go wake your wife. Can't go wake your wife up. She'll be that person be mad at you.
Yeah,
that's right.
I gotta say, first thing, we wouldn't be here without Luka, no doubt, 100%. But man, this guy has to grow up. You would think he'd learn. He shows us every series this playoff run. He screws up royally. We lose the game. He comes back, man, determined. But man, when you have Dirk sitting there. You have the 2011 title team in attendance, like over half the team there. You would think that would get some wisdom in his head. Like he hears everyone say it. He listens to everyone. You know it. He comes out on fire after a horrible game, after a bad performance. But it's like the guy can't just help himself. Like I saw him barking at the refs. I mean, most of the time he's tired because he's foul baiting. That first half, he has wide open looks and is just trying to draw the foul, pump fake, spin, pump fake, and either ends up in a missed shot or a turnover, and he's on his ass looking at the ref, bitching at him, and the ref is running up the court with the Boston Celtics, by the way, and the ref's looking back, and everyone's imploring him. The whole crowd is yelling, get up. And
there was an instance, and this didn't get covered on the broadcast, but it was towards the end of the first quarter where he did one of those, and the Mavs bench is like begging him. They're all being like, go, go, go. And he's just talking to the ref, ignoring him. And that was painful. That was painful.
Yeah, and I mean, Hauser burned him on 2 threes where he's either late in transition because he's bitching at the ref, and the other time he's just caught watching. And they swing the ball to Hauser. Luka is literally turning his head while Hauser's shooting, and then that Tatum dunk on that one play where it should have been a foul call on Tatum. He got away with it. Tatum sprints up the court. Luka's still on his butt. And not even past the half-court line, Tatum's dunking it. I mean, I love the guy. I bought a finals jersey today because he's the best player in the world. I'll always admit that. But, man, the guy has to grow up. And I told my son on the ride home, and he was just so upset. I just said, you know what, don't take this the wrong way. But honestly, I'm a MFFL for life. I hope we get swept because there's nothing else that'll make this guy – I can't think of anything that'll make this guy wake up and grow the F up. Because he's heard it. We've all said it. I'm sure Kid and Nico and Cuban have all said it. But, man, the guy, he just can't help himself.
Well, this is where I think, and again, I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to downplay any of these criticisms. I do think I think when he is tired, he is hurt, it gets worse. And I don't want to call – I'm just going to simply say that I understand it. And, you know, he mentioned – I've sleuthed around insofar as somebody like me can. And what happened before the Thunder Game 5 series where he talked after the fact where he said, you know, people that really care about me got together and told me this has to stop. Like that was the equivalent of what he said.
Yeah.
He did okay for a while, but now I think I'm just very surprised he came into this game with that sort of going about it. Cause he actually played pretty amazing in that first quarter. And then there was like 4 possessions that really caused the Celtics to get back into it. And then you look at a 7-point margin of victory and you wonder. That's all.
Yeah, I think most Mavs players, the whole team, fans, we're all going to look back at the series and just think game 2, game 3, it was right there. And we just couldn't get it done. I mean, Boston's a better team, but we have the 2 best players in the series. I still believe that. Kyrie showed up, but now Luka didn't show up in the way he should. He didn't play nearly as well as he did in game 1 and game 2. And, you know, that's the end of it. I mean, the role players, they shit their pants again. I mean, PJ, too little, too late. Lively, a little bit too little, too late. I loved his energy, his passion. He got the crowd hyped so much. But that missed alley-oop, some missed defensive rotations. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a better complete team. But I think we're all going to, you know, look back on this summer and just be like, man, coulda, shoulda, but didn't.
Oh, it's tough, man. Well, I'm glad you got to go to the game. Glad you got to experience that. Hope you get to go back at some point. I would have loved to have gone to a finals game.
I'm 0-2 now. I went to game 3, I think. I went to game 3 in 2011.
Wow.
And this one, I told my son and my wife when we got home, was like, I'll never go to another one. I'm undefeated in the playoffs except for the finals. So at this point, I'm done with the finals. I hope we make it back, of course, but I just want to take my son because, you know, I'm a Cowboys fan also, but Mavs way more than Cowboys. And I'm just like, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime thing. God forbid anything happens to Luka, but you never know. So that's why I was like, hey, I'll pay. I'll take him to this game because he's 9. He'll remember this for the rest of his life, I hope. But at the end of the day, it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing for him and definitely the last time for me because I think I'm bad luck in the finals.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful that you called and hung out with us, man. Talk soon.
Thanks for everything you do.
Sure. Hey, so there's a special guest that joined the show. This guy named Josh Bowe. He is a contributor at MavsMoneyball.com, and I'm pretty sure he's on the train. Josh, what are you doing?
I'm not on the train. I'm done with the train, but I am pulling into a Whataburger soon. There's a long wait, and I was like, all right, let's see if Kirk's still recording, and gonna see how this works on my phone. I got your audio pumping in through the Bluetooth in my car, so.
Well, I got two more guests, and then if you're still hanging out here, then let me work through these last two folks here. Why don't you just hang out? All right.
Yeah, I'll be right here. I'll just be on
mute. Zach, what's going on, man? Why don't you join the show?
Hey, am I on?
You are on. What's going on?
Hey, man, I just want to, much like the last caller, I'm also driving back to Austin. This show has kept me awake. It's kept me alive. I appreciate it. I've gone to the majority of the games, and this show has been a godsend on the drive home, so I do appreciate it. I went to the game tonight. I'm going on Friday. Brought my dad, 78, tonight, bringing my 12-year-old son, soon to be 12 on Friday. If I wasn't bringing him, I'm thinking about selling it, but he's all about it. I went to the Knicks game with him when Luka had that improbable comeback, and I made him leave, which he will never let me hear the end, and rightfully so. I am a cynic. I am always but seeing it in the eyes of a 12-year-old, he's like, no, we got this. Even when the game one was a blowout, it's more through his eyes than my old, tired 40-year-old cynic eyes. So I'll say I appreciate the show. Luka's doing too much foul baiting, needs to finish. I think, like you said, just tired. He plays better when he's mad than frustrated, but this show has kept me awake, and I've enjoyed it after all the games, and I'm going to enjoy Game 4 through the eyes of a 12-year-old. Let's have fun. Swing your pendulum far to the left and the right. Losses hurt, wins are great, but let's just have fun with it. So that's all I got. Appreciate your show.
Good attitude, Zach. Thank you so much for joining. Drive safe.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we got my man Ray. I'm looking at his ceiling, but I bet he's there. He is.
I'm back.
Ray, what's up, man?
Good. Yourself?
You know, I am here. It's been
yes. So
I for people who haven't been here for the whole show, I recommend listening to the opening of the recap show that I did, where you can hear about how strange my day was, and then you'll look back on this moment when you and I are talking, and you're going to go, "Holy shit!"
Because I'll be honest, I finished the game watching it with my wife, and the first thing I said was, "Kirk Henderson's going to be so mad."
I really wasn't, I really wasn't. Today was a day of like a lot of like real life perspective shit. And so I was really excited they made it a game. Like, had they come in here after getting thumped, I think I would have been super pissed.
Yes.
So,
but I actually wrote down a few bullet point one-liner notes as I was kind of going through it, pretending to be a journalist, that sort of shit.
Sure.
First question was Dante Exum, question mark, was the first thing I wrote down, because he was staying in front of guys, well, from what I saw anyways. He made a dunk, and then same as always, 3 minutes played, you're out forever. Make that what you will. Then you mentioned something about you didn't get to see the good and the bad part of the first quarter, right?
I was relaying it through our Mavs Moneyball Slack, which was like 200 comments of people like waffling. Luka looks great, and then at the end, it's like, what is happening?
I wasn't too focused on Luka, to be honest. On this one, this was my focus, and I wrote this down. The moment we put Maxey in the game with Hardy for those few minutes, where I saw it change was there was a swing pass, and Kleber hesitated to shoot. Then an extra pass to Hardy. Hardy steps out of bounds. And they had the ESPN camera on Luka yelling at Maxey to shoot the fucking ball. And then that was the beginning of the moment to me on that first quarter that everything started to go tits up. That's just kind of how I saw it. And the last one during the game I kind of wrote down was Tim, question mark, during, Luka getting fouled out, as opposed to DJJ or anybody else, really. Exum even. I don't know. We can talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. ad nauseum, but that it is what it is, I guess.
Sure.
Yep. But I kind of was mad, and then I calmed down. And then I kind of put it into perspective and I wrote down 2022 Celtics, which to me was, are we just the 2022 Celtics right now?
You mean like just a little ahead of schedule without enough seasoning?
Correct.
That sort of thing?
Yeah, playing the best team in the league, the Warriors, and they just don't have, they just need one or two more guys to finish the job type of thing. And to me, it's like, it comes down to a very simple thing. Their 3-7 is better than our 3-7. Maybe that's all it comes down to at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a way to kind of look at it and go, it's a kind of a blessing we made it
this
far to experience, you know, this is where we need to kind of, this is the level we need to be in, and it kind of weed out the herd a little bit. So the names I wrote down, the Maxis, Tim. I to be honest, because what do they say all the time in the NBA? They go, there's 82 game players and there's 16 game
16
players,
game players, yeah.
I think it should be expanded a little bit. It should be, there's 82 game players, there's 12 game playoff players, and then there are finals players. In a way, because some will happen through development and some or through experience of doing it for the first time. So you don't give up on Lively because he's a 20-year-old rookie who's, you know, kind of experiencing it for the first time. But you can tell right off the bat, as Maxi's had his moments in the playoffs and Tim had that one game in the playoffs, you don't play them in a finals game, ever. That's how I see it.
Well, you know, it's tough with these players because the Celtics rotation isn't that deep right now either. And, you know, they lose KP and they got contributions from guys tonight in ways that the Mavericks were looking for contributions for guys on the road.
Yeah. So. But in your deep hearts of hearts, when you watch Maxey take a shot or when you watch Tim make a shot, you don't think, come on, buddy, you got this. You go, fuck, please make it out.
I mean, every time, like since Maxey got hurt.
And we've had it for years too. So I don't know. I think it's a good way to kind of reflect and go, are we just going to say, hey, we're great, let's run it back? Or are we, I'm not going to say we're going to find a Holiday or a Porzingis, but, you know, are we going to try something at least to make ourselves stronger? And Luka doesn't have to have a high usage rate in an NBA Finals and then have bitch and moaning stories come out.
That's right.
Yeah. But anyways, that's kind of what I got on that.
Well, I'm grateful you stayed up late. You got anything else before we get out of Dodge?
We'll be fine. Whether it's a sweep or not, you know, experience is the best teacher, and we'll take the hits just like we did in 06 and come back better. That's all there is to it.
That's right, man. Thanks so much for hanging out.
No worries, man.
All right. We got my man Nick Robb walking around Los Angeles. What's going on?
Hey, dude. So look, I could say all the Tim Hardaway Jr. stuff, the Hardy stuff that everybody else says. Let me just hop on this one topic that seems to be really present for a lot of people tonight, and that's the gaming of Luka. Fucking miss me with this bullshit. Like, this is, like, imagine how your day was today. You went to your job, and then you went to the hardware store, the grocery store. These are things Luka Doncic can't do.
Right.
You know? And so it's like, this man steps out, and he is hounded for his autograph. He is hounded for this. Give me this, give me this, give me this by everybody.
Sure.
So he's going to stay home, and, you know, he's going to game. That's fine. That's fine. That's his off time. Look, a lot of players at 25, you know, their BAC was a perpetual 30%. You know? So, I don't know. I'm just saying, miss me with all this. Like, oh, he's good at Valorant, or I don't know what the games are. I don't play like that anymore. But it's just like, this is not why the series is going the way it is. This is not why his performance is going this is. This is not why his conditioning is what you think it should be. He's a good gamer because he's been an extremely famous person since 16. He can't go to the bank. He can't go to the
Right.
grocery store. You know, like they don't know him at Lowe's. Like he's not doing that. Like that's all there is to it. Like this is not an excuse. This is just a fact of his life, which is much different than yours, than mine, than I'm.
What do you
going to
mean, Nick?
guess.
When I go to the PTA meetings, I get recognized by weird dads that listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and it's weird for you. And I am going to guess that there is a certain bit of you that says, this is
Every
awkward,
time.
this is unusual.
Every time.
I don't like this.
Every
don't
time,
want
except for my friend on my son's basketball team, who she's like, oh, it is great meeting. You're right though, it is weird. So this is you're making a great point. Your point is well
Imagine
taken.
if there was 2,000 people like that when you just want to go get some
Sure.
boneless, skinless chicken breast for yourself because you ran out. You've beaten the Tim Hardaway stuff to death, the Hardy stuff, everything else. This is just what I wanted to offer. This is just how I see things.
I very much appreciate your contribution. Thanks so much for staying up late with us.
Yeah, it's not late for me, but yeah, you got it.
All right, talk soon.
All
right, Josh, you're coming back on. Hope you've eaten all of your Whataburger at midnight. Josh has not eaten all his Whataburger at midnight. We'll see if he's actually able to rejoin here, which he might not be able to because he is probably either driving or riding in the car or something of that nature. All right. So if Josh is going to be able to rejoin, I think I'm going to close it up shop. We're here almost at about 2 hours. Shout out to my 6-month-old for not waking up during this process. Shout out to my 8-year-old for not waking up and coming in here and joining the show. This was always a bit of a gamble. We'll be back on Friday. I'm not sure if Josh is going to go to the game on Friday. Oh, hey, there he is.
All right. Well, give me like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I can keep talking. Yeah, no, it's fine. So I don't know what our schedule is going to be. Obviously, we only got one day off between games. I don't know if Josh is going to go to game 4. Like I sort of just because Josh used to be boots on the ground reporter guy for Mavs Moneyball, 10 years ago. And so I encouraged him to go do this. And so I'm very curious to see if, one game, it's such like, guys, everybody like beats on like Brad Townsend and any of these guys that go to games regularly. It's very taxing to physically go to the games. It's a 5-hour commitment. And you're like, okay, well, it's so-and-so's job, but it is their job. But it's a 5-hour commitment on both sides of it. Plus, and granted, the whole point of going to the game is not so you can just go there with a seat. It is to go there to create something from it. You come home, you write a story. You come home, you do a video, you do a podcast. It's that sort of thing. And so Josh went as media tonight and got to sit up in the Sting rafters in section 300. And I don't know if he's going to do it again for game 4, but so if he doesn't, we'll probably record like normal. If he does, then I'll probably get somebody from Mavs Moneyball. Our colleague Matthew basically was like on site because he just can't.
Hey, I'm back.
All right. So you got any closing thoughts for us?
Oh boy. I just thought, it was a weird game. I'm going to write about it when I get home. I tried to ask, because, to me, the story of the game, I know, a lot of people I'm sure you had a lot of people talking about refs. And obviously that's like, I'm not going to deny the fan passion of being mad at the refs. Like it was, that sucks. So I'm not going to even try to broach it. If you want to be pissed off about it, totally like be pissed off about it. Like that's part of the deal, like I'm not going to tell anyone that they're being silly for being mad at refs after a game like this. But for me, like it was it's the offense, and it's, the defense has also been a challenge, but we kind of knew, like personnel wise, there's just not a lot that they can do defensively. I think that to adjust, there's some things they could do, but it's just Boston is just like the perfect team for this specific Mavs defense. But offensively, it's just like, it's one screen and ISO, and I tried to ask everyone that I could after the game was kind of like, well, what do you do about that? And Kyrie gave the most in-depth answer, and he was basically like, we have to be more efficient with our one-on-one so that they feel like they have to change their coverage. So it didn't seem like it was more, well, we need to adjust and we need to do this. It was more, we're getting shots that we feel like we're okay with, and we just have to force them out of it by being more efficient. Kyrie was pretty efficient. Obviously, Luka wasn't. I think he shot like 40% overall from the floor. I don't have the box score, but it kind of just sounded like this is, I mean, because this is the team, right? They got Kyrie and Luka are two of the best isolation scorers in the NBA. Like, at a certain point, it's like asking a leopard to change its spots in a way, you know? Like, I know that people want more adjustments offensively and more off-ball movement. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I just don't know if this team can all of a sudden do something that it just hasn't been doing a ton of.
But they did do stuff all season. But the difference is the teams they played against were not able to switch 1 through 5. So it's like the Celtics are effectively playing like a box and one zone on whoever has the ball. Like, and I don't want to make that excuse, but it's what's happening. And you know, what are you going to do there? What are like the comeback was really like, I'm glad the Mavs came back and made a little bit of fight of it, because had they gotten blown out, this would have been a very different feeling discussion. It showed that the Mavericks can do a little bit now and then. They just need to, there's a lot of stuff that I think they could try, and they're going to look at the game tape. I think they're going to look at the game tape and be very frustrated with what they did earlier in the game to not take more advantage of things that happened later in the game. They dug too deep a hole once again.
Yeah, for sure. It was Luka went to the bench in the first quarter for like 2 minutes, and it went from like 25 to 12, and then they're only up 31 to 30. And they had, and then they never really got their footing after that. And again, it's all one-on-one play, and the Celtics are, you know, that's what makes the Celtics so tough. Is it's just like you said, they can switch. They could switch easily 1 through 4. I don't think they like switching the center. Like, I thought that was the one thing the Mavericks did do that I felt like, okay, like they actually looked at some stuff. Like, I know people get mad and they didn't make any adjustments, but like they very clearly were like, okay, no KP. Whoever the big man is, Horford or Tillman, your man is setting a screen for Luka or Kyrie, and we are roasting that motherfucker. Pardon my language. Like, they very ruthlessly were targeting the Celtics centers, and it was working. But the Celtics, then you know, I wonder if the Mavericks were like, okay, we just had our best offensive 12 minutes of the series. Now they're going to change. Like, maybe they're going to double, or they're going to try to do something to get. And the Celtics just never change. They just never wavered from their defensive game plan, and they were just like, okay, you guys just keep scoring. Like, you're just gonna have, like, Luka, Kyrie, you're both gonna have to score 45 to beat us, and it just just didn't happen. And like, yeah, they're gonna look at the film, and like, you know, I don't take everything that these guys say at the press conference as a face value. Like, you know, they're always gonna say, yeah, we like our shots, because they don't want to be like, yeah, we hate it. You know, they're not gonna be like, yeah, we hated our shots. This guy played like shit. Like, they're gonna, you know, they're professional. They're not gonna say that in front of 50 media people or whatever, and on live TV. So, you know, you take that with a grain of salt about how
was there any explanation for the Hardaway minutes? That's a lot of Hardaway minutes, man.
No, our former boss Cato kind of asked about it, and asked about, like, you played 11 guys. No one else really asked, and Kid's answer was basically just, you know, what you would have expected. Just like, he was just saying, I'm trying to find someone. I don't really know.
But it's like trying to find somebody and then sticking with him, like, because that was Hardaway's minutes. Hardaway's minutes are quite literally the easiest stat line to point to say the Mavericks lost the game, because you finish with Luka as a +9 and Hardaway is a -16 in a 7-point game. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, the previous caller, like, I really, you know, I didn't get a chance to ask. I got big timed when I tried to ask a kid question. They just didn't.
The internet doesn't want us to hear Josh Bowe. We've been bonked by cover. There, you out there? No, we're losing Josh. It's okay. It's almost 2 hours. I want to go to sleep.
And I think my phone is trying Wi-Fi.
Oh, your phone is trying to connect to the Wi-Fi now that you're home? That's the best.
Yes.
All right, man. Hey, don't worry about it. Go inside. We'll talk later, okay? All right, later. And we got one more joiner that I see down there, Mr. Luka Doncic. What's going on, dude? You had You noted you joined the chat late. What are you thinking? What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thanks for joining.
Oh, good. I was like creating an account and everything. This was like really